Good morning, everyone, on this Sunday morning, first day of summer. This is Not Church. I'm Peter Panagore, and Not Church is a weekly event. It's the Bible through a lens of near-death experience with me, Peter Panagore, Christian heretic, because I'm a mystic. Today is titled Noose on a Wire. I'm going to do a little bit of reading, and then I'll be doing a little bit of riffing. So here we go. Noose on a wire. Jeremiah 6:14. They offer superficial treatments for my people's mortal wound. They give assurances of peace when there is no peace, saying, peace, peace, when there is no peace. They say, all is well, when in fact, nothing is well. Now, there's no use pretending peace when there is no peace, and when pretending peace causes more pain. A noose was tossed over a power line along the causeway between a couple of islands off the coast of Maine on Juneteenth, the day when the USA celebrates the end of slavery. A large White Lives Matter sign was found next to it, and Black Lives Matter signs were vandalized. No one knows, or no one's saying, who tossed the noose over that wire. But it's clear. The noose means lynching, and lynching means murdering blacks in an American historical context. The noose is repugnant, and its meaning is clear. I was the island minister for 4 eventful years. There are few people of color on the island, or there were when I lived there, and I was often the darkest-skinned person living there due to my Greek and Persian DNA on my father's side, when tanned, dark, and brown. I understood the racism was there because I heard it, but not from everyone, and even from good-hearted people, strange as that might sound. But it's true. Now, the island was featured in Ken Burns' Just Bear With Me. Just bear with me. The island was featured in Ken Burns' The Civil War because Maine sent most of the people to the war, the most people per capita, and lost the most lives in the war to end slavery. And Deer Isle was on the top of that heap. The men and boys marched away and never came home. Never. The noose doesn't represent Deer Isle or Maine values, but it does represent some racists or pot stirrers living on that island, whose ancestors, down the maternal line, no doubt, because the paternal line was dead, whose ancestors may have shed blood or given their lives that slavery might end. And that's why there are good-hearted people on that island, because there are people who remember that. They remember that. The root of racism is biblical. And this is the myth that started it all. Noah's son, Genesis 9. The sons of Noah who came out of the boat with their father were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham is the father of Canaan. From these 3 sons of Noah came all the people who now populate the earth. After the flood, Noah began to cultivate the ground, and he planted a vineyard. One day he drank some wine he had made, and he became drunk and lay naked inside his tent. Maybe you've been there like that. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw that his father was naked and went outside and told his brothers. Now I'm going to repeat the sin of Canaan. Remember, dad's drunk, passed out, naked, and in walks his son. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw that his father was naked and went outside and told his brothers. Then Shem and Jephthah took a robe, held it over their shoulders, and backed into the tent to cover their father. As they did this, they looked the other way so as they would not see him naked. No one likes to see their father naked. Really, seriously. When Noah woke up from his stupor, he learned what Ham, his youngest son, had done. And then he cursed Ham's son. And then he cursed Canaan. May Canaan be cursed. May he be the lowest of servants to all his relatives. Then Noah said, May the Lord, the God of Shem, be blessed, and may Canaan be his servant. Canaan is God's servant and the servant of humanity. And from this story, racism arises. Because the sons of Canaan were supposed to have been cast out and turned black by the sun. So the story is told. And here lies the roots of religious racism that was used as a weapon of oppression by preachers in the South wielding Bibles from pulpits, claiming the economy based in human chattel was God's will. This mistake was burned into the hearts of the slave masters, the mistresses, and the children until their hearts became corrupted. Because slavery causes suffering to everyone. The slaveholder whose heart is darkened. The same is true of racism, whoever holds those views. Slavery ended on Juneteenth, 1865. Oppression, denial of equality legalized and codified, and oppressively spoken from pulpits to keep people down, continued and continued and continues. Our nation has never come to terms with our history. Truck going by. Our nation has never come to terms with our history. I'm going to recommend 3 books to you by one author, Colin Woodard of Maine. American Nations, A History of the 11 Rival Regional Cultures of North America. We were founded by different cultures, and we're reaping the benefits today. American Character, A History of the Epic Struggle Between Individual Liberty, which rose out of the Bible and created slavery, for the individual liberty of the aristocrats, and the common good, which rose out of religion in New England with all its own oppressive perspectives. Liberty versus the common good. And the last book, Union, the struggle to forge the story of United States nationhood out of those 11 streams, and that battle between individual liberty and the common good. The common good says racism in America is real and must end on both sides. Because religion is the origin of both perspectives. Religion plays a role in this. Now, those 3 books that I mentioned are by American journalist and writer from the Portland Press of Maine, Colin Woodard. And his writings reframe my understanding, my religious understanding, my historical understanding of how we got to where we are today in the battles that we're fighting in our streets. Some folks want a new civil war. I'm not trustworthy of either the extreme left or the extreme right. I'm for the extreme heart of love, facing the real issues of our culture and our nation. And we can't move forward until we understand where we've been. And to understand the roots of racism in America, we must understand our history, pardon me, without a whitewash. The only cure for a heart full of hatred and pain and suffering is the same for both sides. It's love. I know you've heard me say this a million times. It's the answer to everything. Because we're just love with skin on, of different bones and structures of faces and colors of skin, colors of eyes and hair. But this kind of love that's going to clean out the hearts of hatred and suffering and pain, it's not going to be an easy kind of love. It's going to be hard and a difficult kind of love. And that's why I brought up that issue this morning of the noose on the wire. Because unless we air it, we can't deal with it. It's like psychotherapy for the nation. It's like behavioral psychology is what we need to change our behavior towards each other, and maybe our hearts and our minds will catch up. The racism in America comes from biblical religious roots, and so spirituality has to be part of the cure. Jesus said, and here's the cure: love your enemies. Love your enemies. I call on my white brothers and sisters. I call on my black brothers and sisters to love your enemy. And you know, when I watch black churches, I don't see what I see in some of the white churches I've seen. What have I seen? I've seen people loving each other despite years of oppression, despite centuries of oppression. I see joy. I see joy in white churches too, but white churches have not been oppressed like the blacks have. And the mere fact that they keep their hearts aligned with God, those who are in those churches, is the avenue in. And so I encourage church to church conversations, real conversations, and not just in the North or in the Midwest or in the Northwest, but in the South too. I call on my Southern brothers and sisters. We forged a nation together. Now, we haven't settled this difference yet, and we need to talk about it. So, national conversation in churches. Now, I don't even have a church anymore. I'm not even serving a church. But I'm trying to listen to both sides because I know, and here we swing round to what I said a little while ago, which might be hard for some folks to hear. Because I know even racists have good hearts. I know they do. Because I know some personally. Heck, when I was in Boy Scouts, I hung out with them, and I even pretended to be one. Well, I know that underneath the heart of the most wounded person is the light of God. And that's why inside every single person is goodness. Is goodness. And that's why this is a spiritual issue. Because culture and history, that's not going to get us there alone. We need to understand those things. But really, what's going to help us do this is by finding the light inside ourselves and learning to see the light in others and not their political perspectives or their color of their skin. I'm a white guy. I've done what I can as a white guy, and I'm going to continue to do what I can for interracialism, because my people were oppressed when they came here as Irish, as Greek, by the ones who came first, the WASPs, my family too. It's time, my friends. This is the century. We have the technology to communicate. We have the ending of literalism in churches, where we don't have to follow the rule that was laid down before us in the myth of Noah, and can instead aim toward the truth of love that Jesus preached unto his death, because he decided to break the law. That's all I got to say, my friends. I know that's maybe a bit much for today, but you can see I need to be serious sometimes in serious times. So thanks for coming today. And if this touched or stirred your heart or mind, make a comment. I'll do my best to get back to you. If it touched your heart and stirred your mind and made your heart open a little bit, because you know deep down inside you need to love your neighbor as yourself and love God above all things and to love your enemy. Well, if that touched your heart, then I'm going to pass the hat. Venmo, Square, and PayPal, peterpanagore.love. I'm here trying to do my part in the world with my friends and my enemies. I love you all, and I can't help it. I came back that way. I can't help but seeing the light inside. So, peace and love. Join me at 10:30. There's a post on my Facebook page. We'll have a conversation about spirituality. Peace to you all. Love. Love. Love isn't always easy. Good morning, Ashley. Good morning, David. Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Self Luminosity. I decided to stay on here for a couple of minutes. I shut down the Facebook version of it for, I don't know, I just did that and decided to stay here and see what you guys had to say. Hi, David. Self Luminosity. Cheers to you all. This is my morning water. This is a hand blown glass by my friend Wendy and her husband Harry. Harry probably did the blowing on this one, most likely. So I guess I'll say fairly well. Peace to you all. Oh, hey, Christian. I was going to hang out here for a minute, and Self Luminosity says, James. Hi, James. Um, Peter needed a message like that in troubled times, says one royal. Well, scary, tell you. I'll tell you because, good morning, David, my brother. Good morning. There was like I said, there was a noose tossed over a wire on an island I used to live on and work on, and some of my friends told me not to bring it up in public because that's what the bad people want. And nobody knows who tossed it. Was it someone? It was implied, trying from a political agitator from the left or a political agitator from the right. Truth is, nobody knows. Truth is, the meaning's the same. Kill black people. That's what a lynching noose means. Hung over a wire. So that's where that came from this morning. Someone kind of challenged whether I should have put it up, and I'm like, I guess I'm going to talk about that today. So, peace and love, my friends. Let me know what you think. I know that you did already. So, thanks for that. And I'm babbling. So, I'll talk to you later. Bye.